something else broke. The something that broke actually broke a couple of years ago. So little follow us. We're in the venue now. You know, look around, show them the tables and chairs and everything. See the bookshelves full of books to sell. See all this? Nobody's been in here since the pandemic started. Thanks for that. But we still have to keep the pipes from freezing.
Right. And you watched her fix the
okay, so
stuff under the trailer.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is the ancient wall furnace that came in this trailer. I don't know how old this trailer is exactly, but it was here when we moved here over 30 years ago. And I think it was old then. So at any rate, so I'm going to take this off and expose all this shit because we can't afford another wall unit. And my son, the genius, tried to fix because what's been happening is it'll click on and then it immediately goes off. It burns up the thingamajigger. So there's something, the thingamajigger. Come on, everybody has that in the thermocoupler. It kept burning up the thermocoupler and then it goes out and then you can't start it again. And he thought it was that. So I had put 3 different thermocouplers in it and they lasted like, one of them only lasted, 2 of them lasted for a couple of weeks, then burnt out. The last one only lasted like 3 days. So the one that my son fixed and put in here didn't last 30 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
So I think it's something to do with this.
And we can't get the part.
I don't know how to fix that.
And we can't get the part.
And we can't get the part. So
it's that old. We can't get the part.
It's that old. We can't get the part. It's weirdly warm.
Yay.
Because the sun hits it.
The sun hits it, I guess.
Okay, so what am I going to do? I've got to get heat. I've got to get heat all through here. There's vents in the floor. The squirrel cage fan is here. There's a thermostat here. What I'm hoping to do is hook up a regular floor furnace. Not a floor, sets on the floor furnace. It can also hang a standalone heater.
Yeah.
What are we going to put in? Let me show you.
And no, this is not an ad.
This is not an ad, but I like it because it's the kind of shit that I say all the time, but this one's true. It's Mr. Heater.
Yeah, it is.
We're going to put in a Mr. Heater and hope that we can get the thermostat to kick in, use the air return and forced air from the old furnace, which still works, to force the heat from that hallway through the rest of the house. Is it gonna fucking work? I don't know! But either way, there will at least be a heat source in this house, which right now we're using electric space heaters, which is not ideal.
Nope.
A bit, especially when you have things to worry like, I don't know, polar vortexes.
Yes, exactly.
We were just fortunate last year that the polar vortex did not knock the electric grid off in our area, and in part it didn't because our electric company told all of the industry in this area, no, you will close your plants now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that gave everybody enough electricity when we otherwise would have been out.
Right.
So they shut down all of the major production plants, including Max Steel, where my son works. And of course, all their pipes froze and busted. He's still cleaning up stuff because he's in maintenance there. He's still, and it's okay that I use their name because that's not their real name anymore.
No. Used to be.
That's the old plant name.
Yeah.
So, at any rate, but they shut them down because they use, like, what is it, a third of the amount of electricity for this entire area gets used just at the steel mill. So by shutting them down, but then they froze all their plumbing.
Yay.
Which Meyer's still working on that.
Yay.
So, let's see if Mr. Heater is the fix. So, first let's unpack Mr. Heater. Mr. Heater's probably packed in 4 billion tons of shit. Hopefully good shit that I can use to insulate my treehouse with later.
Or build fires with.
Or build fires with.
The box will definitely be a fire maker.
Yep, the box will definitely make fire. Or I might use it for insulation. I've used cardboard for insulation before. So I might use this box for insulation, especially since it is... Okay, these kind of boxes are really not good for... You can use them, but they're not good for garden, for mulch in the garden. Because they've got a plastic coating on them.
Yeah.
And the plastic coating keeps them from rotting. It keeps water from going through. Which, you know, if you, certain plants you could do that on, but, so I either burn it for firewood, or, like I said, because it's plastic coated on one side,
it could actually be insulation.
It might actually make really good insulation. Okay, so this can be used two ways. You can hang it. This just hangs on the wall, and then just hang the heater on it. I can't do that because you saw where I want to put it. That would have me hanging it on the front of that thing, which, if the fan works, I can still filter the air that goes through the house and out through that. Besides which, what would I do if I just opened that up? I got all that ugliness to look at.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are the feet, and there's all the stuff to put the feet on. And then you just kind of rough screw the, you know, so the feet go on, and see that right there? You can screw it to the floor.
Right.
Now, what I want to do, because I've learned the hard way, that all the cleaning stuff is on the underneath side.
Right.
So what I'm going to do is put a screw in there and not put in a big one and not put it very deep, just enough to keep it from tipping, but that I can get off, because, yeah, if you can take it off, you can clean the stove easier. I have to, in order to clean ours, it's the same kind of stove, almost identical actually.
Except ours has the fan, right?
Ours has the fan. You have to buy an extra fan. I didn't want to buy a fan because of what I'm doing.
Right, right.
And, as we know, because we looked this up before I went, I got this for $229. Then I had to buy some hoses and shit, so add another $25 for pieces parts that
you would have had to buy those anyway, so.
But I would have had to buy those anyway. But the fan would have, when we looked it up online, the fan added, well, and probably the cost of shipping and everything else, it was
It was just under $400 without taxes.
Yeah. So without taxes and shipping, or it was shipping free with
Shipping's free with
because
it.
we have Prime.
Right, right.
Okay.
Also not an ad.
Okay, so to get it out, that's what you want to do. Lift it by the bag.
Right.
Don't put it on its side and shake it. I've done that before too. That's a bad
Not a good idea. See, there's more plastic in there too that we can use for.
Remove before use. This is why the fucking country and the world is so fucked up. Because of stupid people. When we have to say on a stove, remove before use.
A piece of
About
paper.
a piece of paper that would be right where the flames are. This is what's wrong with this freaking country. Right here. See that? Remove before use. Do you know why they have to say that? Because some motherfucker didn't remove it and burnt their fucking house down.
Yes.
I knew we were doomed as a species when I bought a push mower that said, do not, on the deck, permanently, do not use as a hedge trimmer.
Yeah.
Do you know what that means? That means some fucker picked their goddamn mower up with the blades going like this and cut all their fingers off. We're doomed. When it has to say, do not drink on toilet bowl cleaner.
Yep.
We're doomed. You know those ads where they're always trying to sell shit on TV to make life easier? We apparently can't strain spaghetti without getting a third-degree burn. We're doomed. All right, so I'm going to finish unpacking this, putting the legs on it. Then I'm going to go and hopefully install it. Because with my luck, I won't have the right pieces. And I'll have to go back to the store 15 times. Because that's normally what happens. Thanks, God.
So do you want me to turn off? So
Yes.
just sit. Okay.
So I got some Teflon tape. All right, so at the lumberyard, when I told them I was going to put it on the floor, the guy immediately said, well, then you'll need this nipple and this elbow in order to put it on the floor. Okay, so I took the nipple in, and I put it in there, and as you can see, that dog won't hunt. I can't tighten it down. So I went to the house, because there's no nipple connection in there, and I was kind of afraid about the tightness of it.
Right.
I went to the other house to see what I did over there, and it is nothing like this.
No, of course not.
So, what I'm going to do is, my age-old, the guy at the hardware store sells 4 billion of these.
Right.
And 4 billion of these.
Right.
So he's given me the right part, which means this is the part that goes into the stove. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And yes, most people would have a plumber come do this. You know what else most people have? Fucking money! I don't have money, and if you don't have money either, then this is what you do. Okay, so you want to wrap your freaking Teflon tape. It took me a long time to do this, so that as you screw it in, you're not going against it. You're going with it, not against it, which is hard for me because, as I've told you before, I'm dyslexic. So trying to figure out the ways so often with Teflon tape, what I wind up doing is putting it on 3 or 4 times to figure out before I get it right. So we'll see. My son loves Teflon tape. I've never liked Teflon tape, probably because of that. He told me never wrap it more than 2 times. He also told me something interesting. He said, it's not that this has sealed the threads. It's that it makes it, it's kind of like oil, and it actually makes it where you can get a good tight fit. And of course, when I get done, I want it to be facing the right way. That doesn't feel right. I might have put too much of that on there. You know, even after I told you that little story about my son, it feels like I put too much Teflon tape on. And or put it on the wrong way.
No, you have it on the right direction.
Do I have it on
Yes.
the right direction? Okay, then I'm going to take some of it off because I think I might have made it too thick. It shouldn't wrap around more than twice.
Well, you didn't wrap more than twice, I don't think, but...
I think I did.
Oh, okay. You would know more than I.
I think I did 3 or 4 times. So.
Oh, well, because that's the same as twice.
And this is why I've always had trouble with Teflon tape, because I have a tendency to want to overdo it. Because if a little's good, you know.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay, so I want to get it good and tight, and I want to have it, when I get done, it needs to be facing the back. Okay, so I found that I couldn't get it tight enough. I'm going to have to put a tool on it, and the leg was right in the way of using a tool.
Of course.
So of course I had to take that off. Now somewhere I have a freaking crescent wrench. Okay, so as always, what am I doing? I'm flying by the seat of my fucking pants. Because, again, I'm not an expert plumber. In fact, what do we know, people? I hate to plumb. And whether it's water or gas, it's still plumbing. Okay. So I'm going to put that on there as tight as I can get it. Okay, so now I have that on. I was a little worried. I don't like the way this one went in. It felt a little too tight for me.
The one right into the heater?
The one that went right into the heater, it seemed like that was awful tight. And I checked it 3 times to make sure I wasn't cross-threaded, and I wasn't. So I don't know if it's sometimes too tight, believe it or not, can cause it to leak worse than too loose. So. And then so I'm not sure. Okay, so now that I got this on though, I'm putting the leg back on, which I realized you can't put the legs on if you're doing this sideways connector. Even if you had the bottom connector on and you were doing it on the wall, you could do it then, but it probably wouldn't be as easy because you couldn't get the wrench on.
Right.
But this shouldn't be on if it's on the wall. So if you were doing it on the wall, you wouldn't have to fucking worry about it. And now I've become the idiot that's going to leave the cardboard in the front of their furnace.
Okay, so now we're going to go see...
But I'm not bitter by life!
Now we're going to go see if we can make it adjust down to the connection in the wall.
Right. Now we're going to go see if we can actually connect this fucker to the old thing.
And we'll be back.
And then we're trying to have my son, the genius, come and check it because he's smarter than I am.
Well, he works with this stuff. We'll be back.
All right. And as always, when all else fails, you call your son the genius to come and figure it out. I had a piece down there that I could not get off, or I was too chicken shit to try to take it off. And Mikey fixed it. Meyer fixed it. My son's a genius.
Yes.
It was pretty tight.
You fucker, it was pretty tight, wasn't it?
It was
wasn't
pretty
just-
fucking tight.
It wasn't just mommy being a big pussy.
No,
right? See?
it was on there.
See?
It was on there.
Yeah,
It
there you
was
go.
on there.
And it wasn't that you couldn't have taken it off, but you were.
I was
you were
afraid
gonna-
I'd break it. I didn't
Yeah, yeah.
know. I couldn't see
I just
the.
wasn't afraid to break it.
What? I literally couldn't see the freaking joint.
Yeah, not being able to see doesn't help.
Yeah, it doesn't help. Yeah.
So now
Yeah,
it is.
maybe.
We're checking to see if the square
We're
cage
checking to
works.
see if we can get the thermostat to work. We know that the fan works. We can turn the fan on and make it work, but we don't know.
Yeah.
Did you just figure it out?
No, I just turned it on.
Oh, okay.
And we're checking to see if it'll actually send air all through the trailer.
Yeah, we're hoping because this is way too much heater for a fucking hallway.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's bigger than the heater we have in our house.
I think it's bigger than the heater I have in my house to heat my whole house.
Really?
Yeah, this is.
It might be the same size.
Well,
This
I'm
is
trying
a-
to get it to heat the whole trailer. So.
This
Yeah,
is
I
the
think-
size that we have in the kitchen.
Well, it's the size, but this one's actually bigger.
Yeah, the size of the
This
actual
one has
unit
more
is.
surface area than the one we have.
Let it run for a second, and then you see if there's
Let's see if
quality.
the heat comes out. Yeah, if heat comes out the bedroom, then it's a win. You would have to run a little.
I can't keep up with him.
Oh, it's cold in here. Definitely close. I just it's a little cold there. That ain't helpful.
Well, it could be because it was freezing cold in the vents. It's warming up closer to the heater. All the way to the back of the house. Let us see.
Yes, it's working.
Yay! It's actually putting heat back there?
No, not yet.
Not yet.
It's got to get hot.
I give it at least 5 minutes to warm everything up.
It's blowing. We will report at the end and let you know if we actually get heat.
Try to figure out where that
Okay, you're on.
heating element.
Oh, but don't worry about it, baby. It's like, you know what? This works. Okay, so my son, the genius, is still trying to figure out how to make the thermostat work, but we can make the squirrel cage work, which is good enough. Because here I am, all the way across the house from where that heater is, and when I put my hand over the duct, I have hot air.
Yep.
And not just coming from me. I have hot air.
Coming up that duct.
Go ahead and feel that.
Oh, I believe you. I came out here and just tested it earlier. Oh yeah, that's nice and warm. Yep.
Well, and
Yay.
it's not as warm as it's going to be because it hasn't heated up the ductwork.
Right, exactly. So yay.
So, I had to have my son, the genius, come and help me, but it worked.
Well, the reality is that you were on the right track. You were just afraid to put too much torque on that.
Yeah, I'm going to screw it down because I don't want it loose. Right now, I still haven't screwed the legs in, so I'm going to go get my driver and screw the legs down so we don't have to worry about it falling over. Till next time, thank you. Say thank you to my beautiful and genius son, Meyer.
Thank you, baby boy.
You're welcome.